Content warning. This video discusses gender dysphoria and a little bit of trauma. If that's something that is potentially triggering to you, you might want to skip this video for now. You can always come back to it later when you're ready. I promise. Biological Riley presents Gender Dysphoria, Riot Fest 2022, and 9 Inch Nails. Festivals are nostalgic for me. In fact, some of my best concert memories are attending fests like Chicago Open Air, Riot Fest, and Lollapalooza back when it had music that I actually cared about. At these fests, it was a thrill to see a bunch of cool bands, eat overpriced food, see the sights, meet new people that have a shared interest in good music, scream along to some of my favorite songs, and spend quality time with my close friends. And honestly, I've been doing the same song and headbanging and dance since 2009, something that has just been so much fun and enjoyable that harkens back to the best times of my life. I just have so many great memories at these festivals. Yet, with that said, there was often a dark side to these events for me. In fact, despite the wonderful nature of these festival experiences, I had issues, problems that pertain to being a transgendered woman. See, every festival I attended was between the years of 2009 and 2017, a period of my life where I was either in the closet or was early in my transition, which for the record, I started in 2016. And make no mistake, this was a tumultuous period of my life. In fact, my gender dysphoria got triggered by even the slightest provocation. My masculine appearance, my deeper vocal register, my male pronouns, and my name often brought on immense psychological distress for me, and for a long time, I suffered alone, like a metal elitist at a Ghost concert, but with an actual problem. And at these festivals, my dysphoria was often exacerbated. See, lots of women attend these gatherings, and between 2009 and 2017, I was often very jealous of them, because as either a closeted or early in transition trans lady, how could I not be? Women are awesome, cool, and beautiful. They often have glorious long hair, could wear cute clothes, and have harmonious sing-songy voices that sounded melodious even if they were singing along to songs in the wrong key, though no judgment here. I'm guilty of that too. And maybe I'm more than a bit sapphic, but God, women are so awesome. Just the best. The Italian beef with hot peppers of genders. And while I know that women at festivals have to contend with their own unique hurdles, like potential sexual harassment, as well as the fact that they actually have to sit on porta potties when they need to pee, which must be a curse of its own, I couldn't help but be envious of them. And sadly, seeing all these glorious ladies just be awesome at festivals always reminded me of my own disconnect between my mind and my body. Seeing all these women have beautiful voices, luscious locks, wear cool clothes, and just be wonderful stood in stark contrast to how I could never be a cis woman like them, that they represented something that I could never have. Which one, yes, that was a 9 Inch Nails reference. How astute of you. And two, I desperately wished I could present as a woman like, you know, the rest of the women, that my body and voice hadn't been scarred by masculine puberty. And unfortunately, being at these festivals often recalled these volatile feelings, because every woman around me was having the time of their lives while I was in deep emotional anguish in this masculinized meat sack that I detest so much. I couldn't be myself, and it often triggered immense panic attacks and depression, causing me to seek out less populated areas of these festivals so that I could remember to breathe and attempt to alleviate my intense internal problems. And despite how I have many fond memories at these festivals, the particular moments where I had intense gender dysphoria were not a good time for me, especially at fests like Lollapalooza 2013, back when I was in the closet, and back when I was suffering alone.
Hold me.
What?
Nothing.
Did you say hold me?
Fast forward to just before Riot Fest 2022, and things had clearly changed. Due to the pandemic and the fact that I was busy figuring my shit out, I had not attended a festival since Chicago Open Air back in 2017. And despite the progress of my transition, I've been on these titty skittles for over 6 years now, like the hot little bitch that I am, I had a lot of social anxiety. So much so that I wasn't originally planning to attend Riot Fest 2022, even though yes, I was letting a close friend stay at my place in Illinois so that he could go to the festival. I was content to just be alone. But then something fortuitous happened just 2 days before the start of Riot Fest 2022. A local friend had an extra 3-day pass through her job, long story, and not mine to tell to be honest, and offered it to me, to which I accepted because even despite my immense social anxiety, I could never turn down the whoppingly obscene price of free. So with that, my friends and I trekked to the Riot Fest grounds and proceeded to have a gay old time, though for me that was literal, because I be gay. At the fest, I was reminded of all the good times I used to have have at festival settings. I enjoy just relaxing with my friends and seeing good live music, even though I didn't really know many of these bands, because honestly I'm more of a metalhead than a punk fan. Which, quick aside, come on Riot Fest, throw this headbanger a bone here. Like, there's a lot of up and coming metal acts that would fit this bill perfectly. Hell, the small band Cyborg Octopus released a new album recently and it fucking rules. And honestly, a band like that would be a great match for a festival setting like Riot Fest, because it is progressive heavy metal with saxophones. It's terrific, it's Cyborg Octopus. But anyway, I had a terrific weekend, probably some of the most fun I've had in years, mostly because it was easy to become lost in the music. Even with the notable minimization of glorious heavy metal, I found myself vibing with a lot of bands here. Orgasm UK embodied the greatest aspects of our modern nu metal revival, Sparta has some quality tunes, the Cloud Nothings are legit, Fear is an awesome rebellious punk band, 7 Seconds brought some heaviness to the proceedings, Gogol Bordello was one of the best shows of the weekend, and surprisingly, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs won me over. Like, seriously, they put on a terrific show, have really catchy songs with a lot of instrumentation going on, they feature alluring ethereal soundscapes, and they are fronted by Karen O, who, by the way, is a fucking treasure. They're really good, and if you forcibly remove my heavy metal credential card for liking them, then fuck it, so be it. Because who cares if the Yeah Yeah Yeahs aren't as heavy as the new Autopsy single? They're still fucking great, so suck on it, metal elitists. No one can revoke my license to thrash.
Now that we got that mushy shit out of the way, I feel like stage diving.
Additionally, I want to give a shout out to the dude at the Alkaline Trio show who kept asking random folks if they wanted to fuck shit up despite being rejected repeatedly, because that shit was hilarious. Like, don't get me wrong, I respect that man's dedication here, but come on dude, it was only the first day of a 3-day festival, and many of us are in our 30s at minimum and have bad knees. So of course people would decline your offer to fuck shit up en masse, because us oldies are saving that energy for when we actually really want to use it, for when it will mean something. And also, let's just be clear here, it was just Alkaline Trio, a band that is only heavy when you're comparing them to Fall Out Boy. It's not like we're talking about Morbid Angel or Entombed here, it's just Alkaline Trio. It's okay, calm down.
Listen to the woman, John. Calm down, just calm down. Calm down, just calm down.
However, the big capstone of the festival was 9 Inch Nails, not necessarily because they were the last band on the last day, which they were, and also not because they were the best show of the weekend, which they also were. No, I'm referring to the fact that the 9 Inch Nails concert allowed me to reflect on the whole weekend in my past festival experiences. See, in terms of my gender dysphoria, Riot Fest 2022 hit different when compared to every other festival that I had ever attended. Whereas festivals past I had bouts of dysphoric depression, my trauma wasn't really recalled at all during Riot Fest 2022. I was able to enjoy my time with friends, listen to great live music, laugh at the amount of times bands felt the need to cover Limp Bizkit. Then I helped people crowd surf, joked about how this was probably the last year a Riot Fest would be in Douglas Park, and then I was advertised Riot Pop ad nauseum because it's booze that has electrolytes. It's what the plants crave. And all this happened with nary a dysphoric feeling. I was able to just relax and enjoy a great weekend of live music. And for me, that was a big breakthrough, and one in which that 9 Inch Nails allowed me to put in perspective. After all, the last time I saw NIN was at Lollapalooza 2013, the aforementioned far more difficult time of my life where I was in the closet and was going through some really tumultuous mental turbulence in regards to my gender dysphoria, and 9 Inch Nails' performance that year reflected my volatile mind state at the time. The 2013 performance was a spectacle. It had a high production value with its various screens and flashing lights, but despite the beautiful presentation, the music itself was a collection of classic 9 Inch Nails cuts, meaning that despite the abundance of visual imagery and the light show so vibrant that it could be seen from the Sears Tower's observation deck, it was overall a moody and angst-filled affair, one with gothic yet catchy choruses accompanied by industrial hard rock riffs that allowed a metalhead like myself to headbang with extreme prejudice. It was simultaneously a visual feast and had brooding tones, but it all worked cohesively. It was a terrific show, and one that I really personally vibed with. After all, I had been a fan of 9 Inch Nails since high school, which was the mid to late 2000s for the record, and as a very depressed and gender dysphoric youngin', I lost my shit when NIN took the stage. For a trans lady who had spent a good amount of that day isolating myself and in a teary-eyed haze, frontman Trenton Reznor's croons and the pulsing guitar tones were downright cathartic for me. The show allowed me to expend some really intense and painful emotions. It allowed me to let my proverbial demons out, and for that reason, as well as for the quality of the performance itself, the 2013 Lollapalooza 9 Inch Nails show was honestly one of the best concerts I had ever seen. For me, it set the gold standard standard for which all shows are judged by. It was the big one. So when I say that Nine Inch Nails' Riot Fest 2022 concert was even better than their 2013 Lollapalooza set, I want you to know that I really mean that shit. Like, I'm not just throwing around superlatives for the sake of superlatives, like how Ubisoft likes to tout the Watch Dogs hat as being quote-unquote iconic, because everyone remembers Watch Dogs and its protagonist whose defining characteristic was that he was, as the people say, some guy. Totally memorable. But unlike Ubisoft's willingness to label everything as iconic, my descriptor of Nine Inch Nails' Riot Fest 2022 set was apt. It really was superior to the 2013 show. For one, the show felt more intimate. On this go-around, NIN's setlist veered away from just being primarily the hits. In fact, they played a fair few deep cuts like Reptile and Even Deeper, as well as some of their more recent material, which really gave the show a unique personality. Furthermore, the stage show had a comparatively smaller production value. While the production itself was still top shelf and head and shoulders above the competition, it was not as focused on stage show set pieces as previous NIN performances. They didn't have the same screens from the 2013 show, and it didn't feel like there were as many lights. It was comparatively stripped back. Though let me be clear, the production itself was still great and filled with enough flashing lights to give someone an epileptic seizure 5 times over. But by past NIN standards, their production, while still better than the vast majority of bands, was comparatively scaled back. But honestly, this added to the experience. The show felt more personal and let the music really take center stage, all while still coordinating with a glorious light show. It had an unapologetic realness to it. The music was up close and personal. Hell, if it was any closer, it would fuck me in the side and call me a walrus. Or to put it in Nine Inch Nails speak, what I'm trying to say is that the Nine Inch Nails concert fucking ruled. It was a standout from a great weekend, and it was one of those rare shows that was a transformative experience for me. So much so that by the end, I was able to see how far that I had grown. Because in terms of my mental health, I'm beyond where I was the last time I saw them in 2013. In terms of the Riot Fest 2022 performance, I wasn't screaming lyrics and headbanging for the sake of catharsis or for channeling negative energy like I was back in 2013. To the contrary, I was now dancing and screaming in victory. After all, over the past decade, I came out, started taking estrogen, practiced many therapies, I've sought help for my mental health, and I'm living as the woman that I know that I am. If anything, I survived my own downward spiral. And with that, the aggressive dancing and all the words I shouted during this show was all for the sake of celebration. It was a statement emphasizing that I'm still alive, that I persevered and became the person that I know that I am. And the Nine Inch Nails show really hammered that point home. It really highlighted how Riot Fest 2022 felt like a new festival experience for me, one that was free from gender dysphoria. And this is what I'm taking away from the Riot Fest 2022 weekend as a whole. Unlike past fests, this was the first festival that I've really attended as my authentic self. My hair is longer, my physique is more feminine, my clothing is less masculine, and I didn't have any intense episodes of depressive gender dysphoria. And while sure, things still aren't perfect for me, I need to laser my beard off and hope to maybe find the courage to wear a jean dress battle jacket next year, because I really want to do that shit and make a carcass logo my centerpiece. I am more comfortable in my body than I've ever been before, all to the point that I can actually enjoy a festival without my trauma constantly haunting me. It felt really nice. So with that, see you next year, Riot Fest. Location pending. And with that, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like rating, share, subscribe, ring the bell, and leave a comment telling me what you thought of Riot Fest 2022 or music fests in general. Also, please consider checking out my Patreon page. $1 a month gets you onto my Discord server, and $5 a month allows you to start making essay requests. The link to my Patreon is in the description. And speaking of Patreon, I just want to thank my patrons, particularly my high tier ones in David, Samantha, Devlin, Mom, and Morgan. Thank you so much for supporting what I do. Love y'all.